Hello, Jim Lynn here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm still working on the Airfix 1/48 scale chipmunk, but I've had a strange experience, and this has never happened to me before. I made a mistake. If you look at how I've joined this upper section to the fuselage here, I've got quite a good join actually. It does need some filling, but the alignment is okay. It's reasonably continuous from here to here and from here to here. It should be reasonably flush like that. And this curved section blends in continuously, which is necessary because the cockpit canopy needs to fit in there. But if you look at the other side, there's a significant misalignment. These two surfaces are not flush with these two surfaces, and this curve is not aligned at all. Now, I don't know how this happened, probably tired or something or not paying attention. And I did think about just leaving it and filling it, but if you think about it, I can't. I'd just be setting up big problems for myself later on, particularly when I come to fit the canopy. It looks to me like the best option is to try to separate this join, and it might be the easiest option because I don't think this join is very robust anyway. It looks like it might be Aris to Aris, so not a lot of plastic in there, so I think the scalpel could do it. And then if I can free this bulkhead joint as well, now that might be tougher, but I might be able to remove some plastic as well. I actually might be able to brute force this all back together with better alignment. And I think a good result will be if I can get this canopy recess to line up properly like it does on the other side. Right, well, I've got this part pretty firmly secured. The last thing I want to do is to slip and cut my fingers. And I want to be able to apply a bit of pressure if I need to. So here we go. I'm just going to go in at not quite flat on, but maybe 45 degrees, and just apply a bit of pressure into that joint. There we go. I think that's it. Yep. That's definitely through. Okay, let's reset and do the other bit. Okay, I've moved the model round a bit. It's always best to align the model so that you're cutting in a comfortable direction. So I've made this cut already. I'm going to make this cut here now. That's it. That's definitely through. Right, so from about here up to about there, I can easily squeeze the two parts together and get some kind of good alignment there. So that'll be okay. But at this tip here, at this area here, it's not quite going completely flush. So I might have to, but there's something behind it internally that's holding it off. So I might have to live with that and do a bit of filling and scraping there. But anyway, that's good news, so we can think about some clamping system now to try and hold this whilst we glue it. But this is the clamping setup that I've got, and I've worked out that if I apply most of the clamping pressure at this end first, then it helps to close up that joint as well. So I've got the clamp set here. I'm just going to rotate it till it's a bit tighter. I've got the blue tack on to distribute the pressure more evenly. So as you can see, as I tighten this, it closes up this front joint very nicely. Just need to push that away from the joint. You can see the weight of the clamp is rocking the model over a bit. A little bit fiddly. I need 4 hands here actually. Right, I think we're good about there. So now we'll get some glue in that. Right, now I'm not using the quick drying stuff because this can stay clamped for a while. I'm using Tamiya extra thin. I've got a gut feeling that I don't want too much, so let's have a go at this. Too much. Right, I think I'm going to leave that till I'm absolutely sure that it's thoroughly dried. In hindsight, I thought I'll just stand here for a while and apply some downward pressure just to help things along. Also in hindsight, I was reviewing the clips before I edited them and I discovered that I'd actually still left a little bit of a step there, so it wasn't 100% better, so I've just tightened the clamps a bit, and I think I've got rid of most of that step from there right the way around there to there. The important thing is that I've got this area here, the slope for the canopy, more or less equal to this area here, so hopefully the canopy will fit a lot better. So yeah, just going to leave that in the clamps for as long as I can, maybe till tomorrow, and then carry on from there. Right, let's get the clamps off, see what this looks like. Now in hindsight, yeah, it's always in hindsight, isn't it? See how sticky this is to get off. I'm wondering if I should have used something different, like wooden strips instead of this blue tack, but we'll see how it goes. Clamping blue tack on, yeah, I'm not so sure now. Let's get that off. See how it sticks to the model. So what do we learn from this? Well, plug your microphone into the correct socket and then you'll avoid that annoying hum. But anyway, on the model, I think if I was making another one, I would fit this top section first, before the bulkhead, and I would get a good join here and then a good join here, and then I can use the key-in slot in here to get this bulkhead to fit more correctly, because at the moment I don't think it's quite right, it's not quite sitting right. And that might give me problems later on when I come to fit the cowlings. However, we've fixed this join here, and that's the main thing. And I think this discoloration is just extra thin that's flowed around the blue tack, and I'm sure that will scrape off. Anyway, all mistakes are opportunities to learn. Let's move on. Sections 20 to 25 of the instructions shows us how to build the engine. I think including an engine is a great idea, particularly in such a large scale, because combined with the option to have open engine covers, it does give you a good platform for super detailing if you want to go that far. But I'm not going to go that far with this kit, maybe in a future kit, but not with this one. So I'm having the cowlings closed. But I do think I still need to build and fit the engine, because the propeller and exhaust pipes hang off it, and you can see some of the engine through the air intakes. But I'm not going to finish the seams or paint anything that won't be seen. Now I'm fitting these exhaust pipes out of sequence because the part pinged off into the void when I was cutting off the sprue, and I'd actually given up looking for it, got on with the rest of the engine, thinking I would contact Airfix for a replacement part, but then I spotted it, so that was fortunate. A little bit fiddly to fit though. Talking about fiddly, I was expecting installing the engine onto the bulkhead to be fiddly, but it was actually okay. Now section 27 of the instructions asks us to fit the underside and front of the engine panels first, but having tried a dry fit, which I forgot to record unfortunately, I think there might be some issue with getting the lower panel to fit. So I'm going to start with section 29, the side panels, as you can see here. By doing it this way, I'm getting the best fit on the upper surface, which is going to be the most visible. And for both of these panels, I'm just gluing the top seam and a little bit down the sides for the time being, just to give me some options. Well, it's just as well I did it this way round, fitting the side panels first, because it seems that I've made another mistake. You can see here I'm holding the lower panel in place, and when I bring the front panel to bear, you can see that the exhaust pipes are fouling both those panels. They just won't go in, and so it seems I've glued those exhaust pipes too far forward. And I remember thinking at the time that that forward short pipe did seem to end in space, you know, not attached to a cylinder. But the other three pipes seem to fit naturally where they are, so I just left it. Anyway, we're just going to have to cut them off and refit them. I've got the model well supported on wooden blocks and big lumps of blue tack, but even then it doesn't stop the engine block flexing. But it was actually quite straightforward just to tease those exhaust pipes away from the engine block with the tip of that scalpel. I do need to remember not to block the camera view though. I thought it was going to be a problem to get it to go in the right position, but it just kind of fell in and sat there. So I've glued it up. I'll just leave that to dry and then I'll get it all painted. Now the cylinders of the engine are painted with Humbrol number 85 satin coal black, but as you can see I'm only painting what I can see through the front air intake. So I thought I'll just offer up that air intake so that I can check I've done everything. You are kidding me on. Fortunately, friends, I've long since cured my tendency to go straight to a selection of choice expletives as a first response to such situations. Anyway, after fishing it out and cleaning the paint off, and actually it did have a nice patina after that, I must remember that for the future as a technique, you know what I mean. Anyway, it seems I'm done with the black on the front, so I did a little underneath the engine. Then I'm using Humbrol number 53 metallic gunmetal to do the exhaust pipes. And once I've finished with that, I just go back to the front and do a wee bit of dry brushing just to highlight some details. And once all of this dries, it's time to fit the final piece, the lower panel. Looking at section 27 of the instructions, this is part B4, the lower panel. And I've decided that the locating nubs are just going to restrict my wiggle room, so I just cut them all off. Certainly cutting the nubs off made it easier to get this part offered into place, but when I did offer it up, that exhaust pipe is still in the way. But you know, I've fixed that, that's done with, so I'm not going to go back to try and fix that. So instead I resort to a wee bit of surgery on part B4. Now I didn't mean to cut off that sticky outy bit. I probably just didn't have it supported well enough, but anyway, it's going to make things easier, you know, sacrifice a bit to gain a lot, and I can always fill it later. Now it took a bit of scraping here and there, and I even had to cut off a little section of the bottom of the engine to get this blinking part to fit, but eventually I got the best fit I can expect in the circumstances. And you know, these fit issues, they can all be traced right back to that wonky bulkhead. Well, thankfully the front cover, part C16, it does fit okay, except, well, it's not perfect, but I can scrape and sand and then maybe use some filler, particularly underneath, which is there's a bit of a gap there, so that'll need filling. So after all my alignment problems, the propeller hub is not centred, so I'll probably just have to cut that off and glue the propeller on. Well, that's the construction of the fuselage completed, and that's a significant milestone. But I have to admit, I didn't expect to find it quite so challenging as it was. But I think that's my stale experience showing through there. But anyway, it's part of the fun of the hobby, isn't it? To find and fix problems, even if they are probably self-inflicted. So I think in the next episode we'll get the wings, the canopy, the tail and the undercarriage fitted, and then we've only got to think about painting. So please join me for that, but for the meantime, thanks for watching.